Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jenny Bernard, your host. As always, you can catch me right here each and every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 6 p.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend that Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil is on the air. You know what we do here. We talk business, legal, social, whatever affects you in your community, we will talk about it. But most of all, we talk politics because politics is everything and everything is politics. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Are you ready? We hope you are, because the 15th is coming up. Today is the 13th. You got 2 more days to get ready. I can tell if you're ready or not. If you're using this mess, these ballots all weekend, I got ballots all day, Saturday, Friday, ballots. If you got this, you ain't ready. You're not prepared because you're going with this mess. That's what you're supposed to do to that mess. When it comes to the house, you need to tear it up. Because if you go to the voting booth on Wednesday and you got that mess and you don't know who you going to vote for, here's another piece of mess. Tear that up because you're not prepared if you're using this mess to make a determination who you're going to vote for. That's right, take it and rip it up. Because I don't need this mess. Because a ballot is another man's opinion about who you ought to vote for. And all of that mess that I just ripped up, why did I rip it up? Because I know who I'm going to vote for. I know that I'm prepared. I studied the candidates. I didn't go by ballots. I didn't go about another man or woman opinion. And believe me, these women now are getting into making this money, endorsing folks. It's not because they know them, it's because some of them are getting paid. And if they're getting paid, they just bought you. And you are what I call a political slave. And if you go by those ballots, be smart enough, ladies and gentlemen, to study to show thyself approved as it relates to what you're doing. What are you doing? You're going in the voting booth on Wednesday. Early voting starts from April 15th through the 30th. And some of you do like I do. I go right away and vote. As I often say to you, I don't have to worry about people running up to me saying, Mr. Bernard, you want a ballot, because they know me. And they know over at Ben's Hooks, it's another pastor there now, but Miller Baptist, they know that they don't have to walk up to me because I got my stuff in order. I know who I'm going to vote for. And some of you individuals that's out here making money, coming back saying I'm endorsing J.B. Smiley. But J.D. Smiley hadn't done anything as it relates to the city council person. Uh, Stood up and lied and said that the gentleman that got the bid for tutoring, that he did not go after Dr. Fagan, just lied. See, a man that's about money has no conscience. He don't know any right from wrong. He just know that mean green. And that's all a lot of these politicians are there. And believe when somebody come out and endorse them, or some kind of way, in my opinion, they have shuffled that money to the people who endorsed them behind closed doors. And Tawana Stout Mitchell, go somewhere, Tawana, and sit your you know what down. Because ain't nobody paying you no attention. If they do, that says to me that the people go in there and vote for somebody you recommended, then those people don't know what they're doing. And others, Dr. Warren, I was surprised he going with J.B. Smiley. Thought he had a little better sense than what he had. In other words, you got people who endorse him, like to Warren Stout Mitchell, a past city council person, didn't do anything while she was there. Dr. Warren, to me, is not doing anything now that he's there. So you got your past so-called leaders in Memphis endorsing people that they really don't know anything about, but they just gonna push it on you, and you fall for the okie doke. See, if you prepared, you can do what I just did with all this mess here that I tore up and threw in, gone through in the garbage. Got all this mess on my desk, coming to my home, trying to persuade and take my right from me that our people in the past have struggled to give you that right. But you just give it up to these clowns here who take your rights away from you. And you give it to them because you take that ballot. And they know when you take that ballot, they know there's a market out there that they can make money off of. So when election times come around, they come to you with these ballots. And all you say, if the ones that I mentioned, Dr. Warren, and all of these other clowns out here, in my opinion, pushing their agenda on you, you go and believe it. I wouldn't take anything from Tawan Stout Mitchell that's known her opinion. If you roll it up and put it at my feet, I wouldn't take it. Because I know personally, in my opinion, she a clown. She did something years ago when she was on the council that I never forgot and never will forget. So she would always be a clown, and her opinion to me would always be a clown because personally to me, she is a clown. But yet she'll come and she'll tell you who you need to vote for. Why do you think people tell you who you need to vote for if they haven't done the work? See, keep in mind, if I tell you that I'm for Reginald Hubbard because he's more qualified than Anthony Buckner. Anthony Buckner hasn't been in a way. He's a good old boy, worked his way all the way up to assistant chief. And he can't figure that out along with Floyd Bunner, who wasn't qualified, but money put him in there. They bought you and made you believe, oh, we're going to get the first black sheriff. What did that mean? What did that mean to have the first black sheriff? I just need a sheriff that know what he's doing, that came up through the ranks, that have been here and there, know the sheriff department inside out. I can say Reginald Hubbard, he's come over here, I talked to him, I looked at his record and know who he is, talked to other people in regard to Reginald Hubbard. That's called doing your research. That's called having receipts. Now, I don't know what you're going to do, but I just gave you one of the people that when I go into the booth that I'm going to vote for. There's several others. Sharonda, I'm going to vote for her forward. Excuse me, I got my eyes on something else looking at these monitors, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. But Miss Ford have done a great job. I've done my receipts. I know what they're trying to do out there to her. And if we don't put her back in that seat, we're going to continue to fail because you got Willie Brooks in there, and I know my receipts on him and what he's not doing. So I can say to you, in that register of deeds office, we need to put Miss Ford back in there. I can say that because I did my homework. That I don't need you to give me something with Willie Brooks' name on it. Like I don't know about Willie Brooks. I know about it. And to me, he's not worth, as they used to say, salt to go on his bread. Or I say, what the little bird left on the limb, in my opinion. So you have to do your homework and stop taking this paper. If you go in there, if you take one, it says to me you haven't done your homework. And if you look in the mirror at yourself and you taking these, you know that you're not ready to go vote because you don't know who you're going to vote for. Tawan Stout Mitchell, sit down somewhere. Because you failed the community, in my opinion, when you was there on the school board. When people was running to fill a seat where they had met the deadline and they said 12 o'clock noon, no more application would be there to fill the seat that was vacant on the council. We had three candidates there. It was supposed to be closed, but you and Tom Marshall decided that you all would get together and break the rule that the reporters had reported. The news channel had said you had 12 o'clock to get your name in there. But after 12 o'clock noon, no more takers. But you all decided that y'all would reopen it in the committee meeting. I was there. I'm not telling you what I heard about Tawan Stout Mitchell. And this is why she can't tell me anything or recommend anything because I know her character. I know what type of person she is. And these news media, I don't run yours, but I run mine. Stop putting these old crows on television like they are experienced in what they job they did. They're not experiencing that. Because if they were experienced, go back. It goes back to Warren Stout Mitchell and presently to Dr. Warren. It goes back to them right now because they don't know what they're doing. And if they say they do, they're lying and the truth is not in them. And I'm going to tell you why. I got receipts. The receipts shows from the past into Warren Stout Mitchell led up to the conditions presently to Dr. Warren that the city is in the shape it's in. I would be ashamed to say I was an elected official or make any endorsement on anybody because you have already showed in the past that you didn't know what you're doing. It led up to the chaos and the situation that we have in this community by the leadership of past city council person, Tawan Stout Mitchell. Didn't know what they did. They just played and got a paycheck. Dr. Warren right now, you would think he'd know better. But look at the condition the city in right now. But they're going to make an endorsement of J.B. Smiley. J.B. Smiley don't know what he's doing. J.C.B. Smiley got upset when there was one member of the council was voting against the AI supercomputer. He got mad, cut a microphone off. I watched it. I got receipts on it. I saw it. I listened to it. You didn't want to hear anything she had to say about it, but you cut her mic off because you was the chairman at that time. You didn't want to hear it. And now look at what we got now. We got an individual that they have suspended Brother Townsend who were pushing that thing. They were pushing the AI. Oh, it's going to be 300 new jobs. But nobody has said exactly why that has been suspended or stepped down. And the only thing he was pushing real hard was Elon Musk and the supercomputers. You all saw it. I saw it. And I told you when I saw that individual, Brother Towns, on there trying to talk about what a great thing the supercomputer is going to be. And now they done took him down temporarily. Why? Oh, I think it's a whole lot more going to come out before it's all said and done. A lot of people I know is sitting back right now. They are nervous because they don't know whether their name is going to come up. They don't know if their name would come up because if they took one thin dime dealing with that supercomputer, it may be your name may come up. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but my thing is stop listening to these so-called individuals that's supposed to know it but don't know anything. All they want to do is to get past you. I told you on Friday, you got to start paying attention, and I'm going to explain it to you again because I want you to get it. I want you to understand what is actually happening to you politically with the people who are running for office. Let's get at it. Let's think about this for a minute. I'm going to explain it again to you. All candidates who run for office and they're with the county or with the city, they run for the position and they stay in the position 2 4-year term. That's 8 years. Well, in the county, you can get vested in 7.5 years. What do vested mean? That means you can get a retirement if you stay in the position within the county for 7.5 years. 2 terms, that's 8 years. So why do you think that when they get out of that 4-year term and they can't run anymore, they want to run for a clerk position? They want to run for another position. And I'll tell you why. Because if they run and get elected, like some of them have, became clerks, follow me now, that will add on to the 8 years. And if they get elected another 8 years, would be 16 years, they would get a higher retirement. 7.5 years would give them a little something they can look in the mailbox or direct deposit. But if they get 16 years, or if they get 12 years or more, then the increase. Now look at what happened and how they playing you, and you just think, oh, because of name recognition, they're doing a good job. No, they are playing you because the more years they get in the position in the county, the more that retirement is going to be. So you got 8 years, 2 terms as a county commission. Okay, are you following me? Then they get become a clerk and stay another 4 years if they just get that term another 4 years. Then they become a situation where now we got another 4 years or we got another 8 years. And the county policy is, and I work for the county, basically, if they haven't changed anything, and I don't think they changed anything as it relates to how you go out. So they got, say, 16 years. They got those terms there, 16 years. And the last pay check that they was getting was say a clerk salary, maybe 140, 160,000. So now their retirement would be more than what it would be at 7.5 or 8 years. So now they got 16. The percentage rate, if it's 80% of $160,000 salary, that they hook-wink you, they bamboozle you and ran amok on you. They took these things here that I got spread all over my desk, and you got them, and you went with the people that's on here. And all these incumbents, if you pay attention, all of the incumbents are supporting incumbents. So they all have circled their wagon to get a higher increase in their retirement. So who is paying that? We are. By people who was too lazy to do anything else but played a game with you, and they went from one position to the other. Say if some have double dipped, say if they had enough time with the city and to get a retirement there, and they came over to the county and stayed enough time over the county, they double dipping. They get a retirement from the city, they get a retirement from the county, and the last 3 years or whenever the period of time they stay, then they get a high percentage, and you paying right at 100,000 or more. I would say, and this is my estimate, if it's 160,000, I would say easily they were getting $90,000 for the rest of their lives. Floyd Bunner, for instance, was a sheriff deputy before he became the sheriff for about 30 years. Then he became the sheriff that first year. If he had not gotten elected again, he still would have walked out. And his salary is over 200 and some $1,000. So now he's coming out with 2 terms, 8 years on top of his 30 years, probably. And that's what he's going to get. That high percentage of the 240 or 60,000 would easily be over $100,000 of taxpayers' money because you've been hoodwinked. You've been promoting these people over and over again. You promoted Floyd Bunner. Now they want you to promote uh, Buckner, Anthony Buckner. For what? He don't know what's going on now. What make you think he gonna know what's going on if you elect him sheriff? He's been there a long time, but he's not qualified. Bunner was there. He wasn't qualified. He was the sheriff. And how many deaths has it been in the jail? And did he really, really, Floyd Bunner, address the death in the jail? He did. It wasn't important. What was important to him is the check that he's getting, that you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled. And now he's finna go into the sunset and wait on direct deposit because he made a fool out of you. And you know one thing I'm happy about when it comes to knowing what I know is that you didn't make a fool out of me. You took my tax dollars, but I did not help you to make a fool out of me because I knew better. Whether it's Floyd Bunner, whether it's going to be Anthony Buckner, or whether it be these politicians that's helping each other to get your money. They said that they did the job. They worked there. What job did they do? Because this city and county is in chaos. I still think in my gut, in my heart, I believe that the whirlwind is coming. And it's going to blow some of these crooked politicians clean off the scene. Because when you sow the wind, you shall reap the whirlwind. I believe that without a doubt in my mind, but I want you to understand what you're about to do. If you go in there with one of these in your hand, or I think they don't stop you from doing it, but if you've been studying this and you're saying, I'm going with this ballot, then you're nothing more than a slave to the political pimps who are pimping you. And you know what that makes you? If you're working on behalf of them and receiving nothing, you know what that makes you. If he a political pimp, then what are you a political? You know it, I told you. And I hold nothing back. You become a political whore because the political pimp have pimped you in taking this mess and going in to vote for their agenda, taking away your right to vote. But let me say this, and to all the senior citizens who may need help, who may need your children or your loved ones to help you, I understand that. And I commend you for still trying to vote. But you tell the person, if you can, who you want to vote for. Because I saw some things that you would not believe during the time that Obama was running for president. You may not believe this. I saw an ambulance coming up to the poll. God is my witness. Rolling an individual in, and their loved one went into the curtains with them. I've never seen that before, but I saw it. So games are being played, and the personal right that they want to vote. I've seen people come in wheelchairs. If they come in and want to vote and they love what with them, yeah, then I understand that. But I'm talking about the young people. The young people get hooked up on personalities, sororities, and fraternities. You get hooked up on that situation that you believe that this is the right thing that you're doing, but you don't realize you are being bought and paid for. I would say to you that if anybody is giving folks 200, 300, 400,000 to run for a position, they have a purpose for making sure that individual. It's not because of the individual is going to do a good job. No, it's not about that. It's about what we are getting right now with Paul Young and absolutely nothing. And everybody want to say, I know the mayor. I've known mayors. I've known president. I've been in the position at the Civil Rights Museum when Bill Clinton was the governor, and everybody said he would be president. Yeah, I went in his presence when I've gone to Bethel AME Church when he spoke that night, and he spoke to the preachers at that night at Bethel Church. So I've been around Senator from Bill Fritz to Dan uh, Block. I'll make sure, yeah, been around those folks. So that don't excite me. What excites me is doing the right thing. Make sure people call me and I say to them, you know, vote your conscience. And they would say to me, okay, I have no one to help me to vote. And I have sat down at the table and said, these are the individuals that represent you. These are the people that are running for that position. Do you know anything about any of them? They say, no, I sit at the table with their loved one. And I say, y'all make that decision. I'm just telling you who's running for what position. As a family, as you're being her daughter, whatever decision y'all come up with this, I'm taking back. I'm just telling you, you wanted me to educate you as to who's running. These are the people, you make your choice. And then they make their choice. I get up and leave. I did a lot of things as a pastor and beyond the pastorship to educate the people. And all I'm doing here is trying to educate you. When all of this garbage, and that's what I call it, garbage, and most of the people that's on these ballots are garbage, especially the incumbents, because look at your city, look at your roads. You're already paying taxes for your roads to be fixed, but now they're talking about let's legalize marijuana. Let's catch up with the other states and legalize marijuana so we can pay for the road being fixed, the highway. We already doing that. So what do you want to do? Extra money. We got, and I should have said this rather. We did not need $2 billion to educate our children. The 2 billion, 1.89, almost $2 billion to educate our children. They started the TCAP. I'm looking to see what's going to happen. Now, if by chance they still don't qualify in their test scoring, then why do we tax the people to $1.8 billion? Why did you tell them that we needed that when our children are still failing? Why? Because the forensic audit already told us why. Because they mismanaged the money. And I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're Hispanic, if you're in charge and you misappropriate money, whether it's 1% or whether it's 20%, a crime is a crime and you need to pay by doing the time. Everybody else walking around here working hard as they can to make it, and these crooked politicians, sit up and do what I just explained to you earlier about what they are doing. It's all about them getting a bigger paycheck off of your back. And it's time out. And I have made in my mind committed to do just what I'm telling you to do, to educate the people. You make your decision, but you're going to be educated. And when you look around after it's all said and done, and when it's over with, and you see that nothing is getting better by the people you put in office, then you're going to look silly. So I don't want you to look silly. I want you to get an understanding now so you can understand. Look, we can't go with any of those school board members because those individuals put us in a position, whether you've been there 2 years, if you was on that board and you had a vote and you voted yes to some of this activities that's being discussed in this forensic audit, you're guilty. If you misappropriated money and you took money, you need to go to jail like anybody else who broke the law. Anybody else who the trust was put into you and you failed to do it, you need to go to jail. And the only way that I think to slow this misappropriating of funds and uh, violating the trust of people, sometimes some of the people need to be stung to get a realization that if I go in here, I got to do right because guess what? The big brother is always watching. I don't care what you think you've done and they haven't said anything to you now, but they may say something to you later. Everybody you talk to, you think you're a friend, may be the person that's the big brother. So what I'm saying, I say all that, do what you have been elected to do, and that do the right thing. You was not elected to get in there and jump from one to the other so you can have a big retirement off of the people. You want to move to the next level. And the higher you move in the next letter, the higher your retirement check is going to be. That's what it is. How do you and why do we take school board members, bring them from the school board to the city council, from the city council to trustees on the Memphis Light, Gas, and Water Board? Just jump politically, making that paycheck bigger and bigger, cutting deals while eating big bills with big wheels, and you end up being in the seat where most of us are out here trying to make a living honestly, but you got these crooked people you have put in position that is misusing you because they figure you gonna do what they want you to do, and you do it 9 times out of 10. You can go back and look and see how much in retirement that this city is paying these elected officials who have been around. I thank God the time that they came up with 2 limit, 2 term, and that's all. And a lot of politicians didn't like that. But they came with term limits. So what did they do? They said, okay, they got term limits, so we're gonna go do this. We're gonna run for another position. So now we can start all over. And if we do those term limits, we can get 8 years, then we'll get another 8 years. Now we at the top of the game. All we can do is sit back and ride and enjoy life because we getting a hell of a paycheck off of back of those individuals who didn't take time to think. They went along with this garbage. That garbage made them comfortable off of the taxpayers because you didn't pay attention. I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, we getting up 2 more days. You start the process. If you haven't did it yet, start talking to family members. But if you didn't know, start calling your neighbors. And don't be persuaded. Just tell them, give me the pros and the cons of the person that you're talking about you're going to vote for. And if you ask that question, and I got in a debate today with someone when I said, tell me what Steve Corns has done in almost the 30 years that he's been in office in the 9th Congressional District. I used to do it when I was on the radio. I would clear the airways, give them 10 minutes. And it's bad to have dead silence for 2 minutes on the radio because you got to be talking all the time. And I would give them 2 minutes, and they were, most of the time I heard, uh, you know, no, I don't know. I asked you to tell me what Steve Corn has done since he's been in the office to help the constituents in the 9th Congressional District. Uh, well, that's all I ever heard. I said, thank you for calling. And that's what. And then when people talk about, well, he got money to fix a bridge, or he brought $400,000 to get the word out to a certain individual. But overall, I'm not talking about individuals. I'm not talking about a bridge. I'm talking about what he has he done since almost 30 years of being in that position. Tell me what he has done. And they can't. We go back to that, you know. No, I don't know. I'm asking you. So I will know. So you tell me, and maybe I'll take what you're saying in consideration. But you know, Brother Bernard, no. You have a good evening and get off my phone. Because when you can't tell me what an individual has done in almost 30 years for the 9th Congressional District, one thing I know they did They tried to realign the group so he could get more people into the 9th congressional district out in Millington and other areas, so he didn't have to depend solely on the African American vote, because that vote in the African American community in District 9, they were pretty much the majority. But what did Steve Cohen do? He went out there and did a little gerrymandering and relining the district. But you sit there and say, to me, someone who know better, someone who has the receipts, and I ask you the question and you can't tell me, just like the lady did today, when I put a post out there and asked the question, what has Steve Cohen done for you lately? And he's been there almost 30 years. So I don't argue with you. I know I found that I'm not going to be hoodwinked and bamboozled into voting for someone, never have and never will, that haven't done anything for you. But you know what? I have to say this, and I'm a black man, and I'm blacker than pretty much they come. But I'm strong in what I believe. You can't persuade me. If I don't believe it, you can't sway me. But how many people can be swayed by other people because you have confidence in the wrong person? And the whole person is that person is trying to get a bigger paycheck. And I've outlined to you how they end up getting that bigger paycheck. Ladies and gentlemen, do your homework because it's important. Take out that school board politically because the state is coming. They're marching to the tune of taking it over. And at this point, I agree with them. Let's see what they do because we've seen what this school board has done. And it led us to be taken over by the school system. Nepotism, favoritism, all of those tism exist in this board that we got. And all of these women that's on the board, they just trying to articulate, trying to hook wink you. Oh, 1%, that's nothing. Well, got 75%. Oh, let's see how much nothing is. Let's see how many people that will have those iron bracelets put on you because your name was there and you thought that you wasn't going to get caught. Clearly, the superintendent now, to me, needs to go just alone when he became the interim superintendent and got the board to pass a contract for his wife. What sense does that make? You tell me, Roger Richmond, already what you about because you took care of your wife. And understand, I love my wife to death. I love her that much. But I can't be in a position where it shows that anything I'm doing is favoritism. People know me. I started this probation company years ago. My wife worked in the clerk's office. She did not work for me because I know in my heart there would have been a conflict. The question was either raised about that, but they found out that were totally two different entities. It was not anything that she was receiving from me in my business and I was receiving from her in her business because I had better sense than that. She had better sense than that. But some people just don't have any sense. And Roger Richmond is one of those people. Roger Richmond, walk out. Watch out now. They may be coming for you because you already done violated one step. And they already know what you did, son. You had that greediness and you wanted to make sure your wife got it when Dr. Fagan rejected it. So you got it there. That may cost you, son. That just may cost you because it's favoritism. It's favoritism, in my opinion. I'm Jennings Bernard. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. And as I say to you, all this garbage that I got right here on my desk, gathering up all of this garbage. This is garbage here. These ballots that came in the mail to buy you, to persuade you, and they'll call it politics. Well, how many black folks that's running for office could take 1.5 million and put it into their campaign? How many could do 500,000, 400,000, 300,000, 200,000, 100,000? They depend on people with money to help the campaign, finance their campaign. The question is out that Anthony Buckner, supposed to be a Republican, I'm supposed to be a Democrat, but it seems as though he's getting a lot of support from the Republican. Question that has come up as to his campaign address. We hadn't heard anything else about that, but those are the things that you need to pay attention to. How can you be in bed with both parties? Who's giving you the most money? And somehow it's hard now to get the campaign finance report. I used to get a sheet that had all the information, finance, name, addresses, and all of that. But now they are limiting phone numbers on it, so you can't call them. Somebody came up with that idea on the election commission board. And you got to see whoever is in charge that they're gonna make it fit whatever party it is, whether it's Democrat or Republican, they're gonna fix it when they have their person in there as the chair. You might well realize that's the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I've seen that. I've seen it to the point that when Harold Ford Sr. was elected, they had down in the basement hidden ballots. When they pulled them up out of the basement, Harold Ford Sr. became the congressman of the 9th Congressional District. But if they had kept those hidden, he would have never been congressman. So the games are being played. And I want you to know that they're being played on you. Rip up this mess. Rip up this mess. Because every time you go with this mess, you've been bought and paid for. And the political pimp is going to be eating good tonight until the next election. I'm Jennings Bernard. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I really do appreciate you. And before we go, I want you to subscribe to this program as well as the website at memphisrealtalk.com, YouTube, same name, Spotify, same name, X, the same name, memphisrealtalk.com. You go to the website, we're going to put some more information. These programs are on all of those sites that I just said. You can put up at memphisrealtalk.com. On the internet, it pops up. You can go to YouTube, do the same thing. Spotify, the same thing. I put it out there so you can get the information, and we're going to continue to do that. We're getting more and more people that want to come on and talk to us, and we're going to be talking to them. And if they don't come, then I'm going to tell you they won't come. That's the bottom line. This show is called Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. And we're going to continue to do that, ladies and gentlemen, to educate you. But we hope that you take the school board off. And maybe we'll have a chance. Because the people that's on that board that put us in this position, past and present, you can't argue about the state taking over. Because you messed up. The city council, county commission, when it comes to AI, you messed up. But you want to stay there so you can get that retirement. So you can sit back, laugh, skin, and grin while you're drinking champagne off of the people's dime, the people's taxpayer, their people's money. But whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. I'm Jennings Bernard. I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like, and tell your friend to tell their friend to subscribe to this program. We definitely appreciate you for being a part of this program. In the words of my grandmother, she always said, if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, we'll see you on tomorrow. And remember what I said, trust everyone, but do not trust the devil inside of them. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame these devils in Memphis, Tennessee politics. God bless you. Take care.